Going on, guys? It is your friend Scratching VA here, and not quite sure what direction this video is going to go in just yet, or what all I'm going to go over, but I wanted to do a video because I have a lot of things weighing on my mind and my heart, and things that keep me awake at night. And it's not so much a lottery ticket or YouTube thing, but it's a people thing, and it's a circumstances thing, and it's a situation thing, family, and it's really frustrating, and I don't have any resources or outlets to turn to when I need to vent, or when I need advice, or I need to talk to somebody, or I need help or anything. That just really doesn't exist for me, so I have a little bit of an audience here, and believe me, I catch crap all the time for ever mentioning anything personal or anything about my family, or any problems I'm having, or anything that doesn't pertain to just making a video and scratching some tickets. And that bothers me because, for one, it's my channel. I can do or say whatever I want, and it's up to people whether or not they like it and want to watch it, or never watch it again, and I'm fine either way. I've had this channel for like a little over 2 years now, and I still only have like 160 subscribers, and I wish that number was bigger, but it's not, and I don't know what to do to make it bigger. I put out some videos when I can. I talk to people. I sub to other people. I've made some friends. And I really only initially started the channel because I caught some other videos and people that were doing things that were kind of interesting. And like most of you guys, when money allows for it, I like some lottery tickets, the chance to catch a break and win a little bit of money or whatever. And, all my life, every once in a while, I'll buy a couple here and there, whatever. But I was kind of interested in doing books because it was fascinating watching other people go through whole books. And that was kind of my goal from the beginning. But 2 years later, still have not convinced anybody to do a book. A couple people have been interested in it, but not enough people will commit to it to do it. And that's fine, I can get them just like anybody else. I can get back-to-back books. But that's not even why I'm really here. My integrity and people trusting me and, supporting me is really important to me. And the ones, that I have that do watch and do care and do listen mean the world to me, because I don't really have a lot of that from anywhere else. Life in general, as I've mentioned before, right now is really, really strained and difficult, but my whole life has been that way. I guess we'll go with this as a sort of get-to-know-me type of thing, and it's highly likely I might get emotional a time or two, because, I'm sure I'll mention my daughter and my dad and things like that, so we'll see how that goes. But, from the jump, disadvantage was my middle name. Things were always a challenge. My daddy was an alcoholic, abusive. My sister's daddy was an abusive alcoholic. The night she was born, he went out celebrating, took me with him. I was 8, and got arrested for a DUI, and I spent the night sleeping on a metal desk in the Henrico County Sheriff's Department the night my sister was born. My brother's dad, 3 kids, 3 different dads, go figure. We lived in some trailers, so it was fitting. He was a drug addict and an alcoholic, had severe mental issues, was super violent and physically abusive. Multiple times tried to crash the car on the interstate and kill us all. So, that was fun. And that was when I was 15, 16 years old. So, childhood, although, there's some bright spots or whatever, a few vague positive memories, it was mostly super disruptive, super chaotic. sometimes violent, often abusive. And when I got closer to being an adult, my mother started getting into online stuff and sending people pictures and going out of town to meet people, and it started affecting her job. She worked 20 years for Philip Morris, the cigarette manufacturer, and what she'll tell you caused that to come to an end is really not what caused it to come to an end, but she'll never fess up. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But pretty much after every time things went wrong, I'd always wind up back in my grandma's house. And then, when I was 18, she always had emphysema and asthma and was on oxygen and tons of medicine. My grandmother was my granny. I loved her, but because I had grown up the way I did, I expected things from her, and it wasn't nice when I didn't get my way, and I didn't treat her as good as I should. And of course, they always tell you that you'll regret it after they're gone, and of course I do. It breaks my heart. I wish I was better to her. So I lost her, and then I was bouncing around because things were happening at home that I just couldn't comprehend or be a part of. I stayed different places with different people. Did some work for different people when I could. I slept in my car, for a couple months in the winter one year, because I couldn't live in my own house with my mother. And all that just came to a head, and eventually I met somebody and moved to Massachusetts for a while, and that ended really quick, because about a month after we moved there, Charlie started calling for her at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning wanting to talk. So yeah, good times. I met someone there really close to the time I had decided to just move back here to Virginia. She had 3 kids, didn't have custody of any of them. Her sister had 2 of them, and the father of the oldest one had custody of her. So we moved to Indiana, got her 2 kids, and over the next several years we got married and got an apartment, and I had a decent job. And her sister always found a way to infiltrate our relationship and try and break us apart, just because she was miserable and unhappy and sleeping with everybody behind her husband's back. I don't even know why I'm getting into all this, but it'll give you an indication where I'm coming from. I'm here now, and I've been with Sherry for 11 years. She's in school to get her RN. She works full-time, 12.5-hour shifts, an hour away from here, plus, school. So her days and nights are consumed with work or school, and that's not going to change for her for another year and a half. When I left here the first time, my sister was starting to get into trouble. She was starting to drink. She was getting into drugs, getting into being around the wrong people. And while I was not here, she got into an abusive relationship. They were sleeping on the streets. She was pregnant. And she gave birth to a premature girl named Destiny, my niece, while she was in jail, who my mother got custody of, and to this day has pretty much raised her, to this point. Even though my sister is now somewhat involved and spends some time over there occasionally. But when I moved back here, my sister had gained a ton of weight, was a full-blown drunk, hardcore drug addict, sleeping with everybody, just running the streets, and her and my mother hated each other. They would fight all the time, and she wasn't allowed in her house. And I tried when I moved back here my best, because it was my sister who I loved. And at that time my brother was doing all right. He was still young, and he was too young and too stupid to be doing so much wrong. Of course, that's changed now. But it was my sister, and I loved her, and I missed her, and I wanted to help her because I hated seeing her like that, and she was so young. So, I helped her get into AA and NA, and I found her a sponsor, and I made some phone calls and pulled some strings at Central State, which is our local cuckoo house, but they have rehab there, and I got her a room for 30 days for rehab that, they had a 6-month waiting list on, and somehow they, managed to find a spot for her, and I took her up there, and she freaked out and bailed. She never went to any meetings, talked to her sponsor that I got her, who was her exact situation. Single mother, 2 kids, drug addict, alcoholic, who now had gotten her life together, had a job, had a house, had a car. My sister has managed to put herself in a pretty deep hole her entire life. She owes the county $13,000 in fines. She's never had a license. She's had so many traffic tickets that she'll probably never have a license. And she didn't want the help, and I spent some time trying, but then, I had to work. I started working for a friend, met a girl, I was happy, and we were spending time together, and she got pregnant. That's my Caitlin. So I did the honorable thing, and we got a place together, and, and she gave birth to our kid, and we raised her. It was scary and unexpected a little bit, but, that's my baby, and I wouldn't trade her for anything. That is my heart and my life. And everything I do try to do is for her and the benefit of her, for her future and whatever. So while we're out there living together, my sister still, she managed to sweet talk a prison guard at the jail she was in, because she went back to jail for stealing. Every job she's ever had since I've been back, she's stolen from. So they start a relationship. She costs him his job, and she has nowhere to go. So we have our place together out in the county, and she comes to stay with us because she promises it's only going to be temporary until they get another apartment, because they lost their apartment. And, she's hiding outside, getting high, drinking, hiding bottles in my house, in the closets, under the house, leaving in the middle of the night, coming back in the middle of the night. And it was really killing us. It was very intrusive, and it wasn't fair for my daughter, who was still really young at the time. But that all came to a head one morning when I was outside on the phone talking to our mother, and she came out the door cussing and complaining about the fact that my child dared to turn the TV on and eat cereal in the living room and wake her up. See ya. I said, I gotta go. I'll call you back. Hung up. I said, pack it up. Call you a ride. See you later. I said, you're staying here, eating our food, using our electricity, water, transportation, whatever, and it's not costing you anything. And you have the nerve to tell me that my daughter, who lives here, it's her house, is bothering you. So, no, that's the end of me doing for you. So, for a while after that, it was fine. There wasn't a whole lot of, she went and stayed with some friends. Of course, I still had to give her a ride places once in a while. But, anytime that it ever involved being gone from my house in the evening or late at night, that was always a blow to the closeness of my relationship, because it's not normal. It shouldn't be that way. So flash forward a little later, we move and buy a house, and we're trying to get it together and get some things fixed and some things straight. It's just us and our daughter, and Sherry's mama, watch our daughter once in a while, and she's been the most help of anybody ever in life, and which is funny because she's the one with the least. Her parents are both on disability. They get very little money each month. She can barely keep a car on the road, but she manages. But she's always been there to babysit, or not babysit, but watch her granddaughter, whether it's a few hours or a couple of days, whatever, to help us out, and it's never cost us a dime. So, while my sister's staying with those friends, she gets a part-time job cleaning some steel plant office at night, and meets this dude and falls in love. And within a week, he's staying with her in her room with her at a friend's house. They're doing it, and she went and got him a PlayStation from the rent-to-own place and a TV, and she's in love, and then she's pregnant. And of course, you know what happens when he finds out she's pregnant. He goes on back home to North Carolina with his 2 girlfriends, and he's back and forth. He acts like he's going to care and be involved, and he's not. Then he's back, then he's not. Then he's abusive. And so we go forward to the day when the kid's born. He's at the hospital. He's the father. I guess he has that right. Baby's born, super itty bitty, because she's been high and drunk almost the entire pregnancy. And of course, you know, at this point, her and our mother aren't on good terms, so she can't go there. My mother can't just take the baby by herself. So they come here. Sherry agreed that it would be okay, it would be temporary, mostly for the sake of the baby. But then when she's here, you know, she's eating and sleeping or gone. It was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months she was here before she even got a job. And when she did get a job, she gave me $100 one time. The rest of it went to alcohol or drugs or to her baby's daddy, who had her convinced he was going to be there, you know, at some point, so she would send him money. And she was here all in all about 9 or 10 months. October to September, 11 months. Hold on, somebody's creeping down the road. That don't look suspicious. You know, and the whole time she was here, she'd be out in the yard all night screaming at him on the phone, drunk, high. She'd get up, get high, go to work. You know, I'd have to take her to work, have to pick her up from work. And then because she was working and being up all night, when she was here, she'd be sleeping all day. So she never spent any time with her kid, never took care of her kid. I'd get up, take care of the kid, take her to work, come back, put my kid on the bus, you know, get my kid off the bus, have my own kid to deal with. Sherry was in school, plus working, you know, and the buildup of this over so many months ran me so deep into the ground that I could not stand it. I mean, I'm running and doing everything from, you know, the time the sun comes up till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night, and it wore me out. And, you know, I feel like I'm sitting there silently screaming and reaching for Sherry, and she doesn't see me. All she sees is I'm not there. I'm not being a partner. I'm not being a father. I'm not doing my job, my obligation to my family. You know, and all that did was push her away. Made her question our relationship, whether or not I loved her. You know, and I understand she had a lot on her plate then, and she does now. And, you know, it was just more than she could handle. And, you know, I don't blame her. I'd probably feel the same way. You know, and I'm not good at knowing what to do and what not to do and how to fix things. And, you know, she ultimately made contact with somebody else that, you know, she had known from high school. And, you know, they started talking and initiated a relationship. You know, with feelings and contact and everything. You know, and my first thought was, that's it. You know, I don't get past that, because I dealt with that before. And there was reasons for that. And I didn't want to go through that again. But we had a kid and a house and pets and vehicles and bills and what we had tried to build together, and maybe I wasn't 100% on my game doing the right thing, and the fact that my sister was there and her kid was there and that was sucking the life out of me, just, it was too much. So, we talked, and she talked with her parents, I talked with her parents, we talked to them together, and I mean, part of her knows that she couldn't do it without me, because she just, the patience and calm and understanding just isn't there for her to handle some of this on her own. So we kind of just put it back together and just let it be. But I have to live with that on my heart and in my mind for the rest of my life. Not her. And I don't think she'll ever grasp or comprehend the severity or the size or the impact that has on me and will forever. And that's the part that really hurts me the most, is that she'll never have that epiphany of, oh my God, how bad I hurt the man that I love, that I raised this child with, created this home with. And maybe she's not supposed to have that, because it wasn't completely unjustified, I guess. I don't know. All I know is that that's torture. And I begged her not to say anything to our daughter, but she was so convinced that it was done and she was going to do something different. And she told her about it a little bit, and now every time anybody raises their voice, my daughter thinks that we're going to just part ways and be done. So every time somebody gets a little snippy, she starts crying and freaking out, runs to her room terrified that Mama's going to leave again. And I don't know. Anyway, my life is such shit. I love my family. I love my fiance, my daughter, you guys. I love everybody. I love loving people. I love to feel happy and good and positive and thoughtful and compassionate towards everybody. But I'm killing myself for everybody else, and nobody's willing to do the same for me. So we put things back together. My daughter's in dance. She's doing good. I bought a vehicle from some people who seemed to be fairly upfront. I knew it needed some work. I got it cheap. They lied to me about the year. They lied to me about the mechanical condition it was in, and the fact that it only checks off a third of the miles you actually drive. Because one night I drove 157 miles, and the odometer said I went like 47 miles. So who knows how many miles was really on it, and ultimately the motor seized up in it and it wasn't any good. I was getting back into a rhythm of working, making good money, doing what I love. Everything was falling back into place. I got rid of everything that was a distraction from me focusing on my family and working. All I was doing. Supporting her in her school, taking care of my daughter, making sure her dance went good, she had what she needed, clothes and shoes, and that she was taken care of, and I got to spend time with her because that's what was important. So 2 years ago, November, my sister and the baby are staying with my mother. They were there probably 6 or 7 months after the first year of the kid being born and being here. and they got into an argument, and she wanted to sleep. She didn't want the baby bothering her, and she kept pushing her off of her on the couch. Well, supposedly she pushed her off one time, and she fell, and she hit her head and her back on part of the couch, and it caused the bruise and the knot. My mother calls CPS and the police. Has her arrested for child abuse, puts a protective order against her and the baby so that her and the baby can't see each other, and our mother and my sister can't see each other. So she goes to jail, goes to court, gets sentenced to 2 years. Well, the protective order's in place for 2 years. They put her on probation, and she peed dirty the first 3 times she went to probation. So they kept her probation going. Well, she got locked up, so the child come back to stay here, and she's been here ever since. And that is a huge burden financially when you're not expecting it and don't have time to plan for it. And I just dealt with losing another vehicle, so I was kind of in a rough spot, but at least at the time, without that extra, and this was in November, a month before Christmas, the month of the baby's birthday, 2 weeks before my daughter's birthday. And we've been struggling ever since, to catch up. I mean, we had to replace the heat pump and air handler on credit. Somehow we managed to get a line of credit for that through Michael and Sons, and we haven't paid on that because there's just no extra money. When I'm working and I have a running vehicle, things are fine, and I can make as much or more than I would being stuck somewhere 40 or 50 hours a week, and do it in a third of the time and have that extra time to focus on my family. But when things start going wrong, they all go wrong at one time, and it's usually a lot of things, and that's where I'm at now, backed against the wall, and there's no easy way out. There's really no way out. I mean, I don't have anybody that's going to help or that's going to give me a loan or anything. I've gotten a couple little loans through these shady online loan places, enough to take care of 1 or 2 things, or at least, put gas in the car and buy groceries, but then that little bitty loan winds up costing twice as much as it did to start with. That's not really helping. With the kid being here and my sister now, she gets to see her only under our supervision. So for the 2 years she's been here, it's been, hey, can I come see her? Or she'll just show up, or she'll expect me to drop what I'm doing and take her to the park, to the playground, or she'll show up with cakes and cookies and, come swoop in, look like the hero, and then roll back out. And, every other day she's coming. She'll come all day, or she's going to come a few hours, and then never shows up. And it's been like that for 2 years. I'm not doing this to ask anybody for anything or anybody for help, because, I've been told what a piece of shit I am when I do that. So I get ridiculed for it anytime I try to reach out for anything. And excuse my language, I'm not usually one to speak like that on my channel, because I want my channel to be something more than just one group of people watches, but it's just frustrating. It's so frustrating and scary, especially right now. The protective order dissolves itself in November, and all I hear from my sister is how can't wait till November. I can have my kid back. I can get her out of your house. I don't like her being there anyway, which blows my mind, because there's really nowhere else where she would be any safer or have anything better to do. But I don't know if my sister still drinks or does drugs. She says she doesn't. She is working. She works at KFC. And every Tuesday she gets paid. She pees away her whole check on cakes and cookies, or trips to Swaders, which is like Chuck E. Cheese, sort of. trying to appear to be the good mom. But she also can't cope with the way this kid is, because this kid has some serious deficiencies and issues, and it makes her super angry really quick. And all I see is, not a good situation for this kid upcoming, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. But then the side problem to this is, and this is the part that bothers me the most, my daughter's 10 years old. And for almost her whole life, somehow or another, my family has managed to interfere with and infiltrate our family dynamic and what structure and normalcy we do have in place. So now we're here, and my daughter's 10, and Ember has been here for 2 years, and that requires a lot of attention, and a lot of focus, and a lot of coffee and patience, because this kid is off the rails. If you're not paying attention to her, she will tear your house down in 15 seconds. And you have to stay ahead of the curve with her and make sure you're focused on her somewhat, because if she's left to her own devices, I'm telling you, I have never in my life seen a kid that can do so much damage in such a short amount of time. But the problem with that is that for 2 years now, it's taken all of that time and attention away from my own child to focus on someone else's child who can't do their job. And that has had a super negative impact, because she gets upset and I hear about it. And it's not fair to her. It's not her place to have to deal with a 3-year-old running around the house. She's 10. She wants to do 10-year-old things and go 10-year-old places. She wants her father to spend time with her. And that's what really kills me, is that I've had enough experience having bad fathers in my life. I don't want to wind up being one, because she deserves better than that. Usually during the summer we get to at least do something together, and I wanted so desperately this year to get to send her to 4-H camp. She's old enough, she'd have loved it, being around the animals and other kids her age and getting to do fun outdoorsy things, and it just didn't happen. And a bigger problem that I'm dealing with, and I've mentioned it, and I don't expect that anyone cares, and that's okay. It's not your place to. But over the past couple of years, because of Ember being here, and food costing more, and having to go more places and deal with more things, and cars falling apart, her dance tuition has gotten really far behind. And she's supposed to start in 2 weeks, the fall season that'll run until June, and she can't because it's not paid. And I'm going to be honest, I owe them $1,411 is what is owed. And I know people will be like, holy crap, that's a lot. Yeah, you're damn right, it's a lot. But here's the thing. She dances 2 classes a week. I believe it's either $22 or $25 a class. No, it's not that much. It equates to like $115 a month for 2 classes. 2 classes a week each week. It's like $115 a month. So basically 14 months. Well, probably 13 is what I'm actually behind. And I've paid on it. 1 month I paid $140 in late fees. 7 of them, because they charge one every month. So that didn't even touch the balance. And then I was able to pay $400 on it like back in March or April, which brought it down a little bit, and that was it. And I hoped to be able to get it down some during the summer, but every time I have a little bit to give them, something else goes wrong. I've had to replace the well pump. I've had to replace the tubing that goes to the well pump. Just yesterday, a main line broke under, well, no, I take that back, not yesterday. Some time ago, a main water line broke under the house, and apparently has flooded my front yard to the point where it's to the surface. Because I saw a guy online offering encapsulation services for crawl spaces, and I was just curious what that would cost. So he came to look under the house. I had 1.5 feet standing water under the house and water spraying out everywhere. Plus, I had a leak in a wall by the washing machine for God knows how long, which is what's making my floor soft and about to fall through. So, had to have somebody come out and look. They found the leak, both of them, fixed them. Now it's just a waiting game for all that water to dry up, and then I'll have to get all the moldy insulation out and replaced. I ain't got it, but that's just an example of what happens every time I get to where I think I'm going to be making some sort of progress. It just falls apart. You know, her car has lifters tapping on it. At a shop, you know, that's going to be $1,000 or more repair job. In somebody's backyard, it's still going to be a $300 or $400 repair job. I ain't got it. It ain't there. I have a vehicle. It's got a title loan on it. I can't sell it as it is without the title. Can't sell it not running for much of anything. You know, if I could pay the title loan off, and I got the part that I think it is, it should be the fuel pump. If I get somebody to put that in, I'll have a running vehicle. I won't need to sell it because I need a vehicle. It's the stupidest thing, and there's no way out. Icing on the cake, we got a letter in the mail the other day saying our mortgage payment was going to go from $670 to $1140, $1040, not $1140, $1040, almost $400. Don't know how that's going to happen. There ain't another $400 available every month to pay that. So, if her car takes a crap, she's going to lose her job. If she loses her job, we're most certainly going to lose this house. And then what? You know, it'll have all been for nothing. So, I don't know what to do, who to turn to, where to go. You know, there is no loans available anywhere that are worth a darn, that would take care of a lot of stuff at once and leave one payment. And I'm terrified. You know, my daughter's not going to be able to dance this year. That's not fair to her. She already feels neglected and hurt and ignored all day, every day at home because I have to chase this terror around who is going to be taken out of our home in November and put in a very compromised, unsafe situation. And that weighs heavy on my heart because I love that little girl. She's my niece and she loves me. You know, that's my little midget. And she'll ask me, am I your midget? Yes, you are. You know, and I don't know. You know, the deal with my daughter is what hurts me the most because I look at pictures of her and she's like this tall. And she's so cute and so little and so innocent. She'll be 11 in December. Just yesterday she was 3. She's my itty bitty little thing in the shopping cart. And it goes by so fast. And I feel like I'm missing so much. And that she's going to miss so much because I can't do it. I hate that she can't dance this season. She loves it. She's great at it. They've let the bill get that bad because she's that good. I need so much. I need so much help. And there is none. The lottery. That's not the answer. I know that. I appreciate that you guys watch what I do. I've mentioned it before that back when I started, a lot of the stuff I did then was my own. Doing tickets. Now it's almost entirely somebody else footing the bill for it, especially now on this chasing this $30,000 prize. It's fun. I'm glad you guys watch and comment on it. That's a little frustrating because, the money that's going towards that, man, I could use for groceries, fix her car, pay for dance. I had a sub, had a sub. I'm not sure if they're still subbed to me or not. Who, I got to know a little bit and got to know me a little bit and, was genuinely interested in my family and how things were going and the problems that we were dealing with on a regular basis. And they wanted to help and was trying to find a creative way to help, and had asked what monetary number would be that would have the most impact and do the most good to be able to completely turn things around, fix everything, and be able to function on my own like I should be and was able to before, while dealing with everything else. And that's a relatively high number, probably somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000. Our insurance company screwed us really bad on the deal with the heat pump and didn't wind up paying out what they agreed to at all. And we never got the second half of the money from them. So out of pocket $5,000 on a heat pump on credit, and we have yet to make a payment on that. And that's going to hurt her credit because it's in her name. And she's the only one that has somewhat decent credit. That needs to be paid off. I have one credit card that I've had for a while, and when I got in a jam, because I thought things were going to be better, I used it to try to clean up a few little things. But then 50 other things hit the fan. So now I'm over the limit on that. If I could just reel that in to under the limit, I'd be totally happy, because every month, even if I do have a little bit to give them, they're charging a late fee and an over-limit fee, plus the interest charge, because it's over the limit. I'd love to get that under the limit. I'll cut the card up and never use that account again, as long as I can get it under the limit and then just make my payment. It's the only card I've ever had that actually had a little bit of a limit on it and won the worst interest rate, because my credit is horrible, thanks to several things and several people. But, having a reliable, functioning vehicle on the road, I have to have, especially once school starts, because I have to be able to transport kids back and forth to where they need to go when they need to be there, because Sherry works 3 days a week, 3 different days every week. Sometimes it's the weekend, sometimes it's Monday, Thursday, Friday, never the same days. So I need to be able to be mobile. It is imperative. There are things in our house that need to be fixed. The floor where the washing machine literally is about to fall through. There's a lot of work needs to be done in the house. I could care less about that. Things that are going to get worse before they get better, like our back porch. Somebody set it on fire a few years ago. Thankfully, we caught it in time and put it out. Yes, something or somebody set it on fire because none of us were outside and hadn't been for a long time. And she only noticed it because she was going to get her medicine from the kitchen before she went to bed and saw it out the window. But the steps have fallen off one side. On the other side where the other steps are, it's coming apart and falling apart. A lot of the boards have fallen through the deck because I don't have hundreds of dollars to go get all this lumber to fix it. Certainly don't have money to pay a pro to come take care of it. So I need to fix my porch. I really need the porch fixed before, somebody gets hurt, especially one of the kids. And her car either needs to be replaced with another vehicle or it needs to be fixed. The lifters need to be done on the top of the motor, and I've got people that'll do it, but they want to get paid. Had to buy a battery for a car, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I went and took care of a couple things and got groceries, and I stopped to pick up some screws from a place for, I think, my daughter's bed or something. And went to start it, battery was dead. So the battery in her car is up under the fender behind the tires. So you had to take the wheel off, the fender well out, this bracket thing off to get it out of the way and pull the battery out. $147 for a battery. And that was the cheapest one they had. More expense that I couldn't afford really to spend. But I had that person that started a You Caring page, which is the same as GoFundMe. I'm pretty sure GoFundMe owns them. And they shared it on their personal Facebook a little bit, and a couple people commented on it, but never really did anything or took off. I don't know if they shared it on YouTube or not. I feel like, there's a couple channels on YouTube that if it would have got mentioned, it might have really made a difference. I've looked at it, and some of what's worded or the way it says is a little not quite so accurate. But I feel like I've probably cleared up a lot of that here. I feel like I'm probably going to catch a bunch of crap from some people for this video, and people will probably unsubscribe. See ya. It's fine. I'll live. I don't know. I'm lost. I hate waking up some days. I hate it. Some days when I open my eyes, I'm very disappointed that I woke up again. I really am. Because sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's fair, because I work so hard and I'm dedicated and devoted to my family as much as anybody could ever be. And I just want what's best for them. I want to give my daughter the safety and comfort and security and some memories, that I never had. I don't expect she wants a horse. I'm probably not ever going to get to give her a horse. Things like that are a bit extreme, but I want to be able to do for her when she wants to do something, or I want to be able to take her places and spend time with her, and I can't. I just can't. It's not there. She needs clothes for school and shoes, and we're not like high-end shoppers or anything, and she's got clothes, but a couple new outfits and a solid pair of shoes. I'm picky about shoes. I don't like buying cheap shoes. I like to buy a good pair of shoes that'll support her feet and be comfortable, for most of the school year. I'm not talking $200 Jordans, but I ain't talking $10 Walmart either. A nice pair of Reeboks or New Balance or something like that, $30, $40. So, we need to get some clothes for school. Psh. Don't know how we're going to do that either. It's just, we got to come up with money for the house and money for the car and money to pay this plumber that came by yesterday and probably saved us from having to replace the foundation of the house. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't have any answers. There is no one to turn to for help. Hang on a second. UPS is here for something. Alright, I'm back on the series. School books. I don't know. I don't know where I was at. Need to go make some lunch for these kids. The little one was asleep, so I came out to do this. You know, I'm at the point of breaking and probably just giving up before I get to feel the effects of what it's like to lose everything you've worked for. So I don't know. You know, people talk about karma all the time and do good and good things will happen. Man, let me tell you, I don't go bragging about it, and I don't tell everybody about it. I do, you know, my good deeds and charity behind the scenes, because I don't need, nobody needs to know everything I do. But, you know, in the work that I do, it nets me a whole lot of excess stuff, or things that are better off given to people than, you know, me trying to make $1 off of it. So I have a few select people that I call on when I have clothes, especially kids' clothes, especially nice kids' clothes, toys, household stuff, kitchen appliances, like small appliances, dishes, glasses, silverware, sheets, towels, you know, small furniture, anything for kids, really. Lamps. Trying to look around and see what I got that I know I'm waiting on somebody to pick up now. Medical stuff like bedside toilets or crutches or canes or shower stools or high-rise toilet seats or anything medical that somebody would need and might not be able to afford. What's we got? I don't know, household stuff, you know, stuff, pictures and decorative stuff, and sometimes cleaning supplies if it's something we're not going to use. Books. Definitely books, kids' books. I give all that stuff away. Tons and tons and tons of it. Food. Food too. I have people that will come and pick it up, and it's specifically these people because these are people that are connected to organizations or groups of people that will get this stuff distributed to people that need it. Whether it's displaced people from a fire or some sort of natural disaster, or, you know, a single mom that's left her husband, or, you know, somebody that for some other reason has become homeless or is in need of stuff, or, you know, a family that's been struggling that just managed to get a new home and doesn't have anything. I push out truckloads of stuff all the time. Stuff I could sell, could have yard sales, you know, could write it off to Goodwill, but, you know, I like to feel like I'm doing something good for somebody. And, you know, I know some of the people this stuff goes to, and it's not super life-changing, but it's, you know, it's a little bit of a burden off of their back, knowing that they can put things in their home that they can use, and they don't have to worry about figuring out how to pay for them. Because with that, no money's ever exchanged. You know, I box up stuff, and it gets taken out of here, and, you know, I know, like I said, I know some of the people that it's gone to. And I do that all the time. I mean, not so much here in the last few months because things are really, really, really bad. But normal circumstances, yeah, I take care of a lot of people. You know, and I don't advertise it. I don't boast about it. I don't share it on Facebook or, hey, look what I did. You know, but sometimes you can't help but think, you know, how come I can't get the same in return once? It's natural to think that way. And then I feel guilty or selfish for thinking that way. And YouTube isn't necessarily the right place to compare life to or share your life or whatever. And I watch some of these channels, and I love watching everybody. And I'm just being honest based on what I see. I'm not judging anybody. I don't care. People can do what they want to do, what makes them happy. That's the basis of life. Do what makes you happy. But I watch some of these channels with the lottery, that have so many subscribers and so many videos. And they spend tons of money on tickets for us to watch them scratch, and that's fine. And no, I'm not talking about the one in particular that people are going to assume I'm talking about. That's a whole nother level, and he's awesome, and that's fine. Has nothing to do with that. But other channels where I see that their fans or subscribers will send them cash, will send them stacks of tickets. They will literally pay their own money to help someone else win more money. And I need to figure out that system. I was watching a video the other night. It was a live stream of some few people, and they do tickets, and they're very happy when they win. And they were live streaming, and people were sending them $20, $50, $30. I watched them rake in like a couple $100 for them to go buy tickets to scratch and win the money. And that's cool. That is totally cool. I wish I could do that. Like, I've seen people mention, special occasions coming up, and would anybody want to send them some tickets to commemorate that special occasion? And they do. So, just throwing this out there, my birthday is the 1st of September. If anybody would like, to throw me some out-of-state tickets. But hey, I'll scratch them and send them back if they're winners. That's fine. I just like to do them. Anyway, I'm going to try and wrap this up. Like I said at the beginning, I don't even know how long this was ran because I'm using the back camera. I can't see the front of the phone. I don't know how long this was ran. And like I said, I don't want anything from anybody. I don't expect anything from anybody. Anybody in this world that ever wants to do anything for me or my family, it will hit us directly in our hearts, but that isn't why I did this at all. Just wanted to... Sorry, the phone rang. Lord, splicing that together is going to take forever. I just wanted to, do a little bit of a... This is who I am going through my family type of thing. And I started to mention something earlier, and I do that, and then I get away from it. Somebody mentioned something the other day on one of my videos about having been concerned about my family and worried, which, believe me, I appreciate, because there's not too many people that give a crap about me or my family. But that saw me mention on a live stream some tickets I had scratched and prizes that I won late last year and January of this year. Which, for one, a lot can change in 8 months. Believe me, I've seen it happen. And the only thing that really bugged me about that was not that they saw it, because I posted it, because that was fact. That in December, I scratched a $1,000 winner, and in January, in less than 4 days, I scratched two $1,000 winners, and one a little bit later in the year, like in May. And to them, they saw that and was very upset with the fact that I mentioned struggling or having issues or problems, but yet I had $4,000 on me in the middle of the year. Well, that ain't true. at all. For one thing, 3 of them were right close together at the end and beginning of the year, and one was in the middle of the year. Here's the kicker, though. I tell y'all all the time that most of the tickets I scratch are not mine, and that it's something. I got more than one person that wants me to do tickets for them. Sometimes they just want me to do tickets. Sometimes they want me to. They're okay if I do them on video. I mean, most of them don't care if I do them on video. Sometimes I can't do them on video. But, Lord, the ticket in December was a Christmas gift from a friend of mine who knows I like scratch tickets, and it was a $1,000 winner. Yay! Ease the burden from what I put out for Christmas for these 2 kids and my fiance. Right? Wrong. Dinwiddie County, I owe back property taxes to for this piece of crap vehicle out here that I can't drive. So they took $600 and some out of that check, and the rest of it bought groceries, put gas in my fiance's car, pretty much. I mean, $300 and some change left. That ain't really anything spectacular. I feel like most people could find somewhere to distribute that much wealth pretty quickly. Second ticket, yeah, that one was mine. Everybody buys a ticket once in a while. I went in Wawa to get a cup of coffee because my machine was broke at home, and I really like Wawa coffee. And I'm pretty sure I was probably putting some gas in my fiance's car for her to go to work the next day. And I bought one ticket, the one that I wanted to do a book on, the 250,000 Money Mania, the one that has gazillion $1,000 prizes in it. One ticket, 10 matches, $100 under each one. Yes, I got to pay some bills with $1,000. And believe me, it don't scratch the surface of anything I owe. The next ticket, though, 4 days later, was for somebody else. I was going to do a video on it, but I was in a hurry, and I just wanted to get it done. And I was in line in the store, and I started scratching it, and it matched all the numbers. And on that ticket, I'm pretty sure it's $40 under each one. It was a $1,000 winner. That wasn't even my money. And later in the year, it was the same deal. I picked one up for somebody, and I was going to do like a reveal video on it if it was a winner, but it was a single match. And I thought, it's probably just $20. And it wasn't. It was $1,000. And I showed a picture to both of them and went and turned them in. And that's that. So it's not like I had $4,000 in my pocket and could just have a good time with it. And that kind of, it upset me. It didn't make me mad. It just upset me that people assume they know the whole story to something when they don't. And I don't feel like in that moment, in that particular chat on a live stream, it would have benefited anybody for me to sit there and go, because they were talking about claim tickets and Virginia tickets. And I mentioned that ticket was a really good ticket to play if you wanted to try to win $1,000 because I had scratched 4 of them. It would not have benefited anybody in there for me to explain the story behind each ticket. All I said was that 3 within a month at the beginning of the year, 2 within 4 days, and then 1 later in the year. 4 total in like 6 months. Same game. That's the only point I was trying to make. And that really upset me because, hey, I'm honest with you guys. And if there's something that, needs to be shared, I share it. I probably should have shared them, but they didn't really affect me or impact me much. And whatever the circumstances were at the time, I didn't think it was that important. So I'm sorry for that if anybody's upset that now they know I scratched some $1,000 winners and y'all didn't see them. I will never do that again. If I think it's going to be a big winner, I will stop what I'm doing and wait and then reveal it at least. So, anyway, God only knows how long this is total. If anybody watches the whole thing, I love you. I appreciate it. I'm getting ready to upload 3 videos first that are from the past week because it's just been crazy. I don't know if I'm going to have anything else anytime soon. I really want to get digging into these 30,000 party tickets, but we're about at the end of the funding from my friend who wanted to dive into it, and I don't know if he's going to want to keep going or not. I want to do a book. Let's do a book. Look, it ain't my money that's going to buy the book. It's y'all going to buy the book, if there's any winners, I have PayPal and Venmo. I will pay you back. You know, I will go cash out the tickets. I will make a video showing the ticket numbers and the book number and the whole thing. You know, I have nothing to gain by trying to rip you guys off. That's not my agenda. Just because I'm broke doesn't mean we can't do some books and tickets. So think about it, you know, because I got people telling me I'm stupid for trying because I only have 160 subs and I haven't been around long enough. Scratch that. I've been around over 2 years, a lot longer than some of these people that got a whole lot more subs that don't do hardly anything and only do, you know, a couple dollar tickets here and there. So the whole money thing with YouTube makes no sense to me. I don't understand it and I don't really care. I don't get the point of it, and I don't even bother trying. So that's not my concern. I want to make some videos. I want to get some subs, maybe have a little fun, do some books. So work with me. Anyway, I gotta go make lunch. I see my daughter keep poking her head out, so I'm assuming my niece is awake now. I love you guys. I appreciate you dealing with my rant, my story. If it helps anything, sweet. If not, I feel better about it. It's cheaper than a psychiatrist, and I get some things off my chest. And I'm sure I'll get some feedback, probably mostly negative. So, you guys have a great day. If I come up with something later or tomorrow, you'll see it. I'm out.